This man doesn't run a country. He doesn't command an army. He was never elected. Yet governments negotiate with him, militaries rely on him, markets react to his jokes, and entire industries reorganize around his decisions. At times, he has been the richest person alive. At other times, he has lost tens of billions in months and still become more powerful afterward. Because his real asset was never money. It was leverage. So how did a kid who was bullied, beaten unconscious at school, and spent his childhood hiding inside books become one of the most influential individuals on Earth? June 28, 1971. Pretoria, South Africa. Elon Musk was born into a world built on hierarchy. Strict schools, rigid authority. Violence was normal. He was quiet, obsessive, different. Other kids sensed it immediately. They threw him down a staircase once and kicked him until he blacked out. He woke up in a hospital. For most people, experiences like that teach fear. For him, they taught detachment. Reality to him wasn't social. It was logical. He escaped into computers. At 12 years old, he sold a video game he coded himself. Not because he wanted money, but because he realized something important. You could build things in the digital world without asking permission. That idea would never leave him. In 1989, he left South Africa, avoiding mandatory military service and heading first to Canada, then to the United States, the center of technological acceleration. The internet was barely beginning. Most people saw a novelty. He saw infrastructure. In 1995, he dropped out of Stanford after 2 days. The internet boom had started, and he believed the window was small. With almost no money, sleeping in the office and showering at a YMCA, he built a company mapping businesses online. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't revolutionary. But newspapers suddenly needed it to exist online. That company became Zip2. 4 years later, it sold for over $300 million. At 27 years old, he was rich, and immediately put almost all of it into a new company. Not software, money itself. Banks believed people would never trust digital payments. The internet was too unsafe, too anonymous. He disagreed. He founded an online financial service that later became PayPal. At first, it nearly collapsed constantly. Fraud attacks, regulatory pressure, internal fights. He was even removed as CEO. Most founders would leave and diversify. He stayed because he noticed something subtle happening. Online sellers were reorganizing their businesses around PayPal. Entire incomes depended on it working. The company wasn't just profitable. It was becoming necessary. In 2002, space belonged to governments and giant contractors. Launches cost hundreds of millions and took years to schedule. He thought rockets could be built like software, iterative, fast, constantly improving. Experts laughed. He had no aerospace degree, no experience, no reason to succeed. He founded SpaceX anyway. The first rocket exploded. The second exploded. The third exploded. By 2008, he was nearly bankrupt. Both his rocket company and his car company were days from failure. Then NASA faced a problem. The space shuttle program was ending. America suddenly had no domestic way to send cargo to the International Space Station. They needed someone new. Not because they trusted him, because they had no alternative. SpaceX received a $1.6 billion contract and survived. For the first time, a government depended on a startup. Leverage had begun. At the same time, he had invested into a tiny electric car startup, Tesla, Inc. Electric cars existed for decades, but were slow and undesirable. Instead of competing with existing cars, Tesla made the market shift toward them. Software updates improved vehicles after purchase. Charging networks locked customers into the ecosystem. Battery factories reshaped supply chains. Countries began planning future transportation around electric adoption. Electric adoption increasingly meant Tesla scaling. An automaker had become a policy variable. Then he moved upward in the stack. In 2015, he announced Starlink, thousands of satellites providing global internet. It sounded excessive, until war erupted in Ukraine. Ground infrastructure was damaged, communication collapsed. Starlink terminals kept military and civilian networks online. Nations discovered something unprecedented. A private individual controlled a portion of wartime communications infrastructure. No election, no treaty, pure leverage. And then he went after the final layer, information. In 2022, he bought Twitter. It looked chaotic and impulsive. But every system he had built relied on narrative, public trust in EVs, rockets, satellites, future technology. Owning distribution of conversation meant influencing perception before policy formed. Industry leverage became social leverage. By this point, his companies formed a loop. Rockets launch satellites. Satellites fund rockets. Cars fund risk. Social media amplifies all of them. Attention produced capital. Capital produced infrastructure. Infrastructure produced dependence. Dependence produced power. He rarely competed in stable markets. Instead, he entered fragile transitions, moments when old systems stopped working, but new ones hadn't formed yet. He didn't win by being safer. He won by arriving earlier. The rockets flew. The cars spread. The satellites orbited. The conversations happened. Power had emerged not from authority, but from becoming the peace reality organized around. He didn't conquer institutions. He made institutions need him. And once the world depends on you, you no longer have to control it. It moves with you.